I mean, you know, the tour's coming to an end. It's not like they have any chance of the major anymore. You may as well try. Just have a bit of fun.
Yeah, but, you know, ideally you'd want to keep your slot in Div 1, right?
Right.
You'd want to win a series.
That sounds important.
It sounds fairly important here for Alpha. We'll see. I mean, if they pull out these team fights non-stop, I mean, they can get it going, right? Like, it's just non-stop team fights. Your only counterplay is Song from Arc, which is, to be honest, it's a really good counter to everything. But early smoke out, Alpha running down.
Oh, that static remnant just being left there, just in case a monster runs right into it. Well, there goes your smoke. Unlucky. I mean, props to Babbage for actually placing that static remnant there. You know, just in case they were running at him. And it seemed like Wildcard had a very good idea that Alpha were probably running at them through the bot lane anyway. So there you go. 5-man smoke, not going to really work out. I suppose it's all going back to just trying to secure some bounty runes, though Wildcard, it seems like they are going to head back down bot. Burrow Strike is there. Flea, not going to be able to avoid the Blood Right. And eventually with the Spear, they are going to secure First Blood. I'm not sure why they ran back up to the high ground, but maybe they were trying to set up for another team fight against Alpha, not realizing they were that close by.
Yeah, I don't think they expected everyone to be there from Alpha. So some good punishment. First Blood going the way of Soul as well. Gonna feel good on that mid-Mars. Keen to see how much he can get in that matchup up against Storm. We've seen this matchup a long time ago, and Storm's level 3 timing just feels so big. Just double overload throw out. Melee hero. I mean, Soul can go for some cheeky plays. He can line up for some spears. He can connect with his supports. There are some good ways of playing around here for Pamplona onto Soul. They've got some good combinations on hand, but I don't see Bapitic being bullied out of this lane at all. Should still be able to dance around and just control CS, get the runes when they come up, and as long as the runes flow here for Bapitic, he's fine.
Yeah. What about the side lanes? I mean, top lane, you've got the Naga Siren being played by Arc. We've seen this one before from the man. Of course, Sammy back on the Snapfire. Seems to love this hero in the Pos 5 role. Pamplona's going to be there to try and help out on the Hoodwink with Monster on the Sanking. And, well, last game around, Monster had a very, very good laning stage. It's top of the net worth for quite a while in that game 1. So it didn't pan out to a win, but we'll see if he can have a bit of a repeat performance here against Arc's Naga, though that's a lot of damage being taken. I suppose the Sand King, generally one of the heroes that is kind of better against the Naga, because you do have that Caustic Finale, you have Sandstorm, you have Burrow. It's kind of nice ways of bursting through these mirror images being brought out by Arc. At least for now, though, Arc doesn't seem too worried by it. And, well, there goes a courier from Monster.
Yeah, at the least it already dropped off its items. So you're not missing out on too much here for Monster. Already got his regen out. And for Arc, I mean, he's farming pretty well. You don't really mind this. As long as Monster can't connect with Pamplona when they hit level 2, level 3, you should be set to farm well. Sammy has to just keep putting his body forward. If they will go for a bushwhack play into Burst Strike, it's better him dead than Arc dead. So that's all you really want here.
What about the bottom lane, Jonathan? Sunlight and Flea against Rises and Tiger. Of course, Rises had a horrific bottom lane last game around. Tiger's on the Phoenix this time around. I don't really know if that does too much in the way of protecting Rises, but we'll wait and see. His top lane now, Monster in trouble already. They do have the Acorn Shot to slow them down. Bushwhack only landing on Sammy. It seems like Arc's not going to be able to keep up with the Sand King anyway, but you've got to be happy with the way this top lane's gone. Like, Arc, he just seems so comfortable.
Yeah, he's just farming up well. Sammy's doing a great job of just cutting him off here on Alpha side, or already cutting the tree line as well, making it tougher to look for those bushwhack plays for Pamplona. And he's having to ferry out more mana regen. Just doesn't have enough to sustain the spam that Sammy's been doing. Sammy's just ready with 3 more mangoes left in the pool. And as you were mentioning on the bot lane, this lane isn't any easier for Rises either. It's a DP. She doesn't care too much for the Bloodseeker matchup. And Flea's just on the same tree. Tree line's not cut up. He can just keep weaving in and out, being annoying. Even if you land a Fire Spirit onto Sunlight, he doesn't care. As long as he has Spirit Siphon ready to go, he's going to be able to regen right through. And as soon as he has level 2 Spirit Siphon, they could look to get really aggressive on Wildcard if they find an angle.
Oh, they certainly could. At least for now, Rise is having a decent old time, 17 and 8, which I believe is a lot, basically over double the CS he had around this time last game. So definitely a better game so far in the Bloodseeker, and it is one of those position ones that can sustain itself very easily with the Thirst. So he should remain just fine. Going back to the mid lane for a moment here, Babbage top of the CS board right now on the Storm, though mind you, Soul only one CS behind in the Mars, so they are trading very, very evenly in terms of CS at the moment. Though again, it kind of goes back to your point, like those level 6 timings with the power runes is going to be the main concern here as bottom lane, Tiger, forced to Icarus dive out, does salve up himself, Flea still in the chase, does get the grasp off to cancel off the salve, so will continue the chase up, has lead seed back up and available, pops out as well, and this might be another kill to go their way, though Tiger just going to be forced to TP back towards the fountain. The least he does survive. Negative aspect is Ryze is going to be left down to the bot lane on his own.
Yeah, you don't get to even go for a TP play, bottle refill on mid, so it's going to be a bit of a long slog back for Tiger walking into the lane, and that's a lot of room for Sunlight to just get his own CS up. Ryze is pretty much uncontested though. Free farm so far on the Bloodseeker. Managing to trade well enough as long as he does get some of that thirst off from the CS. And for the most part, Flea hasn't been focused on chasing, although they will now.
Yeah, they will. Ryzes okay to survive because Flea doesn't want to dive without a creep wave. So again, the thirst going to allow him to sustain in this bottom lane, but as the levels do go up, things are looking a little bit scarier here for the Bloodseeker, and definitely needs Tiger to be around to try to force them off. Meanwhile, top lane, Monster, oh, he tries to burrow strike away. Sammy's got the damage output. That'll be the first death here for the Sand King. Pamplona, I believe he may have been trying to stack in the triangle. Doesn't even get away with that. And so not able to stick around and help his Sand King. And again, Wildcard really having a fantastic time in this top lane. Really no struggle here for Arc whatsoever.
Yeah, you expect a little bit more coming out with the Hoodwink combination. You know, just play aggressive, play with that bushwhack. Not really getting the angle to do so. At the least here for Alpha, they spot that rotation out from Flea with the Observer Ward. So Flea's not going to get any freebies for the opportunity on mid. And is more than likely just looking for that secure on the rune. Does spot out Pamplona. Again, these power runes very important for the Storm and for the Morris to make some plays.
Well, Alpha's going to try and make sure they deny those away from the Storm. Flea. Oh, they get lucky. Oof. It's topside as well. Babbage, he has the zip if he wants to move in for it. Looks like for now he's going to try and deal with this Phoenix, but Flea will just remain and protect it. Very unlucky for Alpha. You know, you could have kind of hoped that it was on the bottom side, but it was not. And of all runes to give away, you give a regen rune, so Babbage now very effectively just going to be able to farm his own jungle. Can just do so for the next 30 seconds, just knowing he's going to have infinite mana.
Yeah, no worries in the world. Get some free farm going for himself. And a little bit of room for Flea to soak on mid. Pretty under-leveled on that Treant. Has been just focused on giving a lot of solo EXP out to Sunlight. So would want some more up to get some of that survivability, some of that chase going here for Wildcard's end. And Babbage just as efficient as you said. Just farming up, no problems. Working onto the Kaya now. Very calm early game here, not really looking for the aggression just yet. But you are at the point where Arc is just taking over that jungle once more. And he's able to farm, and we saw what he did with his Terrorblade once he managed to get that space in the jungle.
Bottom lane. Soul has rotated, has the arena up, gonna pop it straight away with the speed of land, so Sunlight. Surely no way to survive, though he gets 1-2 siphons off, but they have the damage. In the meantime, Pamplona drops at the top lane, or rather the mid lane, I should say. Flea was hanging around there. So they will lose the Hoodwink, but it's still a fantastic pick-off here for Alpha.
Yeah, they need that. Relieve that pressure on Ryzes. Allow your Bloodseeker to keep farming. They slowed down just a little bit on the DP. I mean, slowing down Sunlight's big. He's bottom network core. So his timings are just kind of thrown off. His Exo's going to be up in a bit. Arc.
Monster. Top side. Did pump fake the Epicenter for a moment. We'll leave him be. A lot of heroes hanging around bot, but yeah, nothing going to come out of that either. And Soul, he does get the illusion room this time around at the very least in the Mars. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, immediate smoke up as well. Arena's still down for a bit longer, but if they just connect the Spear and the Silences together, they have more than enough to melt Sunlight, but they're dragging a lot of heroes to get this happening.
And they got scanned. So the smoke is pretty obvious now from Wildcard as they do start voice lining them. Sammy is sticking around here to kind of just tank the gank. Cookie away, very preemptive, knowing it was coming. That'll be the smoke kind of failing for Alpha as they just got to go back to the mid lane now. Because that is being forced in by Babbage. Half the HP pull, that tier 1 tower is just gone. Babbage immediately TPing down bot, knowing Soul is coming to try and defend that mid tier 1 tower. They might just try onto Rises now on this Bloodseeker. Pamplona going to be around to help out. There's your jump in. They do rupture up Sammy. Exorcism popped as well. Sunlight trying to get to the Bloodseeker, but Soul, he does TP back into that tier 1. He is around to help, but can't really deal with the Death Prophet. Still, they do make sure the Bloodseeker does remain alive, and Sammy Boy does still drop.
I think if you're Wildcard, you're just happy all the action's happening bot. And this is just room for Arc up top. No one's contesting him. Monster does have a free lane, but you're trading all of that in for Arc to free farm. And yeah, the Naga Siren's not #1 at the moment, but it doesn't take too long in that jungle for the Naga to really build up that lead.
Epicenter, Flea, sticking around to defend the top tier 1, not going to get away with it. At least a nice little pick up there for Monster now on the Sand King, and well, they can apply a little bit of pressure onto that tier 1 top if they wish, but it does seem like Arc's going to be there to defend.
Yeah, just toss the illusions out. Again, it's much better for the rest of your team to cop these spells. You're only losing supports and pretty much supports in Sunlight. So your Storm's still farming, Arc's still farming. This lineup for Wildcard does take more time to come online. It's Alpha that needs to keep this pressure up, and they've been doing a good job of it. Every time Soul has Arena, he shows up, he commits, they play off the back of it well. They're working towards a really good blink timing here for Monster. And once that ties in, you've got the aggression you need. You just support levels necessary next. Tiger needs a 6. Once you have that, your combination's online.
Getting pretty quiet across the map. 4-2. Slight net worth lead going both ways at the moment. Just kind of going back and forth. Flea's still around the top side of the map, making sure the tier 1's not going to go down that easily. And a very deep ward placed there by that Radiant tier 1 tower. Just to make sure they can scout out any TPs incoming to help out Monster and Pamplona. The push is a very slow process with the Sand King. Bit of a chase here onto Tiger, but amounts to nothing. I suppose Monster could just keep skipping creep waves here, try to keep working on towards those Guardian Greaves to be up. But against the Treant Protector, you're just never going to find the tier 1 without some help.
No, it's going to take a lot more commitment coming out. Again, Monster does have that blink up, so they could just play around, look for the initiation, wait for that epicenter to be up and running, get the jump in. And Bapetich is roaming around with a Invis rune now.
That he is. Runs right into Monster. Burrow Strike is there. He can't see the Storm at the moment. Mortimer's Kiss is out. Sentry Ward placed. Monster gets deleted. Overgrowth out as well. They found Pamplona. A double kill for Bapetich. He'll be very happy with that. Basically gets him enough gold for the full Kaya up. And again, the tier 1 top tower, it's going nowhere. Flea's just going to keep healing it up slowly but surely. And the thing is, even if you wanted to TP in and try to help out that top side, they had the ward watching the tower the whole time, so they would have known the rotations were incoming.
They set up really well on the side of Wildcard, and they give Sunlight space to just push in that bot.
Bottom though, speaking of Sunlight, he does get caught in the arena. Tier 1 tower does drop, but with the rupture out, he should go down. He is healing just a little bit, but not quite enough. They've got it.
You're pretty happy. You take the tier 1, you force out 3 ultimates on yourself, and you're not getting attention out to Arc. So you cop it again, you already did your job taking the objective, and you're allowing these 2 big cores to form in Wildcard. Not the biggest loss. Alpha, I mean, they're finding kills, they're finding punishment. It's not in the targets they need to jump. You have to suppress that top jungle somehow. You have to spot out Arc. You have to jump Bapetich while he's still susceptible. Once he has that BKB, this Storm is just going to dance around you.
And he will. Top of the net worth board now is Arc, and going straight into the Orchid build up to boot. At least Rises does have a Maelstrom available now on the Bloodseeker. So his farm should escalate.
Another regen for Bapetich.
Yes, of course.
He just gets to dance around the jungle. I mean, rune control is just so big for something like the Storm. Doesn't get to farm as much as he is interrupted by Monster, but you're more than happy. And you're #1 already on Arc. You're not too far behind on Bapetich, although, to be fair, Soul has kept up in a good pace, and he's going to have his own blink up rather soon here as well. We just need to see that connection with Alpha. We need to see that team play, because that's what was lacking in Game 1. That whole combination they were going for with a Chrono didn't work out. This time, they have a lot more to play with.
Top side, Flea may get scouted by Pamplona. Oh, Bushwhack's off the mark. Doesn't bother trying to use the Acorn shot to scout out where the train is. Again, the tier 1 still just being healed up. Almost up to full HP once again. Alpha. They are as 3. They'll find the Observer Ward. In fact, 4 now up at top for Alpha. They really want to make sure this tier 1 top tower does go down. Problem is, it seems like Wildcard, they could just group up and go for the mid tier 1 in the meantime. Soul is there, but he's the only one around trying to defend that. In comes Sunlight. Exorcism is available. Rotation's now incoming from Alpha. Maybe they can punish them for this. You've got the blink set up from Monster. He wants to go for the epicenter, but they are backing off at the exact right time. Still, in they go. Burrow Strike does connect, but Babbage, he's there with the Vortex, slowing them down, and now the song. It's a bit messy. The Death Prophet, though, still walking out just barely. As they do bushwhack him up and take him down. They've lost Pamplona. They've lost Soul. They might lose even more. A nice epicenter. Burrow Strike is there, however, but Rises. He's been caught in the Bloodseeker. Babbage is having his way with absolutely everyone. A triple kill for the Storm. A full team wipe. And it looked kind of good for a moment, but not good enough.
I mean, that was Wildcard executing a bit jankily as well. Song into the Kisses combination right as it was coming out. They didn't bother canceling the song too early as well. It still works. Bopatich isn't caught, and he dances around him. This Storm is just difficult to pin down with the stuns you have. You've got to get that blink initiation on point with the Burst Strike or the Spear. If it doesn't connect, Bopatich dances. They tried. And Pamplona tries to wind up the Sharpshooter, but doesn't channel it long enough. And Bopatich is fine again.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those things, right? Like you just want to land the Sharpshooter half the time. As well, they're going to find Sammy at least, so you've got something for your trouble. Though Sammy still walking out. Looks like the tree ended up going down, and he's actually all right.
It's a bit awkward. Alpha can't even find these squishier targets. Way to jump in. I'm sure Wildcard, they're very happy. 3k up. Their farm is just escalating. They're getting this aggression out. They're the ones forcing these movements out from Alpha. And again, we're seeing an issue with connecting your teamfight spells. As long as Ark's there to disrupt with a song, the teamfight gets thrown off. They can focus on the egg and just clean up.
They're still trying to get that tier 1 top tower. But again, Wildcard is just going to force them back into the mid tier 1. Look, Flea's having a field day up top, just forcing them to run around trying to look for him. And there's Tiger. Gets caught out of the Phoenix. Silence is there to make sure he cannot escape. Soul, I mean, he does have Arena. They could try Sammy, but oh, they missed the Spear. It's not going to matter. They will still find him. Sammy's brought back.
Sammy?
I mean, they started a fight. Ark was there onto Monster for a moment. Had they had the kisses, Monster would have just died. It wasn't a rage buy back by any stretch of the imagination as Wildcard. They're gonna run right through the Radiant Triangle here. Maybe a fight to break out. Pamplona's gonna scout Sammy out. They could look for a dieback. A nice bushwhack, but the cookie still landed. Monster, he's in with the epicenter, but the damage isn't high enough. They'll drop the egg though. This is a great team fight here for Alpha, or at least it should be. Flea is still trying to fight back. The egg does blow up, and eventually Sammy, he'll go for the kisses. But Sammy knows he's dead. In goes Sunlight for more. Meanwhile, a song being popped on the other side of things. Top lane, being chased down is Rises. Tiger's still in trouble. Tiger's gonna die. Rises barely surviving. And that brings us to our odds, of course, from our betting partners, esportsbet.io. I wonder what the odds are looking like right now. And it is 1.14 for Wildcard. The favorites, of course, against the 5.36 for Alpha.
Yeah, those odds, they sound pretty fair. We've seen Alpha kind of surprise us in some of these engagements, but overall in the game, they haven't been able to tie it in together. Sammy, that's an instant dieback for him, so not the best feeling in the world there. You know, it looked like he really wanted something going out with that smoke. And they find a couple, but it does die back. So at the least, that's something for Alpha to be happy about. You know, they know they've gotten onto Sammy, which is always important when you're playing against Wildcard. But Sammy, like you say, Mike, you know, this guy, he dishes it, but he can also take it. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. I mean, he was looking for a kill with the Mortal's Kisses, to be fair. Interesting buyback, nonetheless. Mid lane, Monster jumps in. Burrow Strike is out. Make sure he gets away from the Storm. Of course, Babbage looking a lot scarier here in this mid lane. Meanwhile, top side, Samson. We okay to just cookie his way up towards the north. back onto the high ground. Though his ward does get dewarded immediately. And the chase is still on for Sammy. Monster right behind him with the blink up, but can't see him at the moment. Deward is there, that'll reveal him. And with that, sharpshooter to set up. Eventually they'll have their way with Samson once again.
Yeah, he gets the voice line out. I mean, he's doing his job. Again, it's all about stall, all about getting Bapatic and Arc online. And let me tell you, these guys have not been jumped. 6-0 on Bapatic, 2-0-3 on Arc. They've just not been ganked.
Nope.
And that's all that matters. Even if Sunlight dies, even if Sammy dies or Flea dies, they still hold on to all their objectives. Like, with these support kills, they're not able to move on to towers. Alpha, their map control, it's not growing any wider. And that's just so much jungle space for Wildcard to sustain this build-up. I mean, Bapatic is going to have a BKB. With that up, he does not care. The only thing that could possibly stop him is maybe a Rupture out, but even then, he can just zip around. He doesn't care too much until he runs out of mana.
And he does not. Top tier 1, though, is still a target here for Alpha. They're having a look around for Flea again. Acorn shot way off the mark. Flea gonna reveal himself. Pamplona, believe saw him there for a moment, but the bushwhack not gonna land. Soul's not gonna land the spear either.
No.
Flea, enough. Stop it, Flea. Overgrowth down. He's gonna try and TP and he's gonna make it.
Flea.
Oh.
Francis Lee.
Revolting.
Francis Lee.
Revolting.
The Phil-Am escapes. As we say in the Philippines, that's a TNT move. Tago ng tago. Keep hiding.
Sunlight. This might be a TNT move from Soldier. He's been caught out. Sunlight will move in, but do they have damage? Bushwhack is there. Epicenter channeled up. Sunlight somehow still alive. Still healing up.
No, wait, no.
He's trying to TP out and he might know. The spear will land, but Sunlight, he's still going.
Oh my god.
He finally goes down.
Imagine if you got that TP off right after top was such a disaster.
Oh my god. It's so demoralizing if you're Alpha. Like, my god.
I mean, you get that kill, but again, Bapatic has his BKB. He's the hero you need to be looking out for. You need to be looking out for this Naga. Arc, he's going to have a heart soon. So they're doing their job well on Wildcard, just feeding away to let these two big cores farm. And for Alpha, we are seeing some of the connections on the team fight, but not in the big heroes. We need to see them jump Arc. We need to see them jump Bapatic. In fact, jumping Bapatic might be a little bit late for that now with the BKB. As long as Bapatic has the reaction time, he is pretty fine. And there's that heart. Arc has 2.5k HP. You can't burst him down.
No, the replay of this Sunlight death, like, it's the amount of damage they throw at him, and he's just still going. Like, pops the mech, pops the pipe, goes for a TP. Luck, the spear was 0.1 second away.
Yeah.
0.1 second.
I mean, he could have almost just TNT'd like Flea. Oh, Flea's teaching them some bad habits. That's not something that you want from the Filipinos, TNT.
And surprise, surprise, John. Top T1 tower is still standing. Still there.
Barely took any damage as well. It's just being healed. Like, Flea just dances here. Please, maybe just go in, arena, take out the tree line, just kill this guy.
Well,
something.
He might do it now. They're going to look around again. Glyph is forced. The tier 1 cannot go down. There's your Nature's Grass. They know he's in the tree somewhere. Now on the backside, Arena is down. They have found Sunlight. Song committed though. Can they get the follow-up damage? It doesn't seem like they can. The DP survives once again, at least for now, as Sunlight trying to run, trying to survive, might just make it. The spear connects, but it's not enough damage. Oh, the humanity. Oh, it never ends. Monster can't even find the storm.
Bapatic didn't even have to use his BKB.
Pamplona, caught with a root, does get a bushwhack, but he has to watch himself just die.
I mean, that entire fight happens, and the BKB we talked about, Bapatic doesn't even need it. This is rough. Alpha, this is a rough game for them. Manta style almost done on Arc, just 600 gold away. Roshan open with the Exo running. No need for a reset. Alpha, they're just not able to get that. They're not able to be the guys jumping. That was a beautiful flank from the backside from Wildcard, catching them off guard. They're so focused in on just trying to get that tier 1, trying to find Flea that there's so many angles for Wildcard to expose.
Well, I mean, it's an AK advantage now. 12 to 17, and if you didn't have the damage earlier to kill these guys off, you probably don't have the damage now. Aegis up on Babbage. Double life on the Storm. Sergeant Kaya almost available now. Like you mentioned, Arc with the full Manta. The Naga's starting to feel impossible to kill. There's the Guardian Greaves being finished up by Sunlight. So even harder to try and deal with this Death Prophet. And they're still trying to go after this tier 1. I mean, I hate saying it. This tier 1 tower.
This is just torture.
It really is.
They just don't have push. This lineup just doesn't have right-click push or any sort of push.
It's Groundhog Day at this top lane, John. Just everything's the same. Mid lane, Sammy. Blood right away. Zip in, Tiger. Gonna get caught. Nice spear though. They've at least caught the Storm. Egg's been dropped, but he just zips away. Sammy's still trying to go for the egg, but he can't get it down in time. Will get stunned up. Now the overgrowth. Flea shows up from that top lane. Tiger, Icarus dive away. He's alright. Pamplona's still running. Barely surviving. Azark, who are we chasing now? He'll see Monster. Gets the Ensnare off. Gets the Orchid off. Zip in from Babbage. Make sure Monster goes down. And they might just head into the mid lane. They don't need Exorcism at this point.
There's still the arena threat, but without the follow-through egg, you don't care. And Sammy's just going through tier 3s chasing. God damn it, Sammy. Oh, can you imagine the smile he has on his face?
Oh, we don't have to imagine, John. We can see the smile he has on his face. He's in that dark room again, by the way, John.
I find his room just so terrifying.
He's got blue lights on this time at the very least.
Because they're red.
But his face is shining red. I'm not sure what's going on with his room.
I mean, I swear, the red tint, and when he smiles, he just looks like a madman. He looks like a serial killer when the red lights are on, not gonna lie. Love you, Sammy, but your room is just terrifying sometimes.
It is. Rises. Not safe. Babbage gonna zip right in. They've found the Bloodseeker. Silence will be there just in case he wanted to try and run. And we all know there is no running. Scatterblast to the face from Sammy. 13k advantage now. 12 to 19. And you can tell Wildcard, they are feeling very, very confident if they weren't already.
Yeah. I mean, all their tier 1s still stand at 26 minutes with a 13k lead. This BKB out from Sol could help the cause. He's not going to be pinned down by Bapetic. He's going to have some counterplay. We need to see that now connect with the egg. Connect with the Burrow Strike along with the Epicenter. And these spells have to come together. And they have to work as a team. They've got to find that pickoff. Get the chain stance off onto Bapetic. And you'll have yourself a game. But even if you focus all in on Bapetic, right now with the Aegis 2 lives, and with Arc around, I mean, even if you take care of the Storm, he's going to have a Butterfly. He's already got the Butterfly. I don't know how you deal with him.
You said Storm has a Butterfly? No, it's Arc.
Arc, yeah.
Arc has a Butterfly.
Yeah.
I was
like
gonna say,
after you deal with Bapetic, how you deal with Arc.
Right. Rises. BKB forced out. That'll be enough. Babbage laughs, walks away. Tips out from Sammy.
Sammy.
Sunlight will tip as well. I mean, he needs something. Nothing else is going right in this game. Hand the man a tip. Tier 3 bottom tower now under siege. Sunlight is taking care of it on his own. Sol, it's going to be the greatest arena we've ever seen. He's only found Sunlight in it. They'll drop the egg. In fact, never mind. They found Flea as well. At least they've got the tramp, but no, the egg is gone. The egg is bursted down. Meanwhile, Monster being chased down by Babbage. There's your overgrowth, catching out Sol. They'll lose the Mars. GG is called. They've had enough. This game has been torture. This game has been torture. That tier 1 top tower, I don't know how many times they try to take that thing down. And Flea just... Yeah. He tortured them.
He did. He did. Again, the Filipino move of TNT in America. Not a good thing, by the way. Do not do that if you're a Filipino watcher. It makes it very hard for us to get visas.
Yeah.
It makes it...